Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
NDTV shines with 38 prestigious wins at the News Television Awards 2024. Powerful journalism to cutting-edge digital innovation, production excellence to regional leadership. NDTV sets the benchmark. 38 awards, each a testament to your trust in NDTV. NDTV stands for trust.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
This week on India Ascends.
Will Myanmar's junta chiefs see the same fate as Syria's Bashar al-Assad? Beijing in limbo as Xi's purge extends to his own men. How Trudeau's own misgivings are likely to become his end. And broken souls in a broken system, why young Wall Street bankers are getting by using ADHD pills.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage.
All right, breaking news coming in. Former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, has passed away at the age of 92. Dr. Manmohan Singh, he was in fact admitted to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences media cell has issued a press release which says that with profound grief, we inform the demise of former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Aged 92, he was being treated for age-related medical conditions and had sudden loss of consciousness at home on the 26th of December 2024. Measures were started immediately at home. He was brought to the medical emergency at AIIMS New Delhi at 8:06 p.m. Despite all efforts, he could not be revived and was declared dead at 9:51 p.m. is what the professor in charge of the media cell, Dr. Rima Dada, of All India Institute of Medical Sciences has said. And I'm currently joined by my colleague Sunil Prabhu. Sunil, we've heard from All India Institute of Medical Sciences now, confirming the demise of the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh.
I think it will be cancelled. It's not for me to announce. The government of Karnataka will announce. But for me, I have to get back now and see.
Sir, you worked in his cabinet. How do you remember him, sir?
I remember him as a wonderful man, a good leader, compassionate individual, a great visionary. Thanks. Thank you.
All right, my colleague Sunil Prabhu is there with us. Sunil, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences has confirmed the demise of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh.
That's right. Just a short while back, the press release was issued and he was declared dead at 9:51 this evening. After, as we reported, he had lost consciousness at his house. They tried to do, to resuscitate him at that stage. But he was brought to the Emergency Medical Institute at 8 o'clock. And despite all efforts, he could not be revived and has been declared dead at 9:51. So India has lost one of, the architects of economic reforms, which started off in 91. He then went on to be chosen as the Prime Minister in 2004 and was the first Prime Minister after Nehru to win a successive term as Prime Minister. Of course, it's been a long road for Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was an academician, and then from there went on to, carry on as to become a politician, as he says, an accidental
Sunil
politician.
Prabhu, stay with us. We are currently also joined by former Union Minister C.P. Joshi. Sir, what a great loss for not just Congress but for Indian politics in general.
देश का एक महान पुत्र जिसने देश को आगे बढ़ाने में बहुत बड़ा काम किया, वो जो हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे। पूरा देश उन्हें नए भारत को निर्माण करने में जो उनकी भूमिका है उनको याद करेगा। मुझे भी उनके साथ काम करने का मौका मिला और मैंने अपनी जिंदगी में इतना विद्वान, इतना देश के प्रति समर्पित और देश को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए जो उनका कमिटमेंट था, वो आज हमारे बीच में नहीं रहा। ये व्यक्तिगत रूप से भी हमारा लॉस है और देश के लिए सबसे बड़ा लॉस।
राइट, डॉक्टर जोशी, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह की जो लेगेसी है, आपको क्या लगता है किस तरह से उन्होंने कंटेम्प्रेरी इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स को इन्फ्लुएंस किया है?
He has influenced the Indian, particularly economic policies. Today, our country is one of the most powerful country in the world because of economic policies. He was far-sighted man. He has introduced new economic policies. That's why our GDP was far ahead than any other country. So I visualize that he was one of the most talented prime minister we had.
Right, Dr. Joshi, Dr. Manmohan Singh has often been referred to as the accidental prime minister. But how do you think the history will remember Dr. Manmohan Singh?
There is no replacement. He'll always remember in the Indian history.
All right, Dr. C.P. Joshi, thank you very much for speaking to us. And Sunil Prabhu is still there with us. Sunil, we heard from Dr. C.P. Joshi mentioning how big a loss this is for Indian politics.
That's right. It's a huge tragic loss for the Congress party as we speak, as for the nation. A great Indian, one of the pioneers of India, and really it's a sad loss for India at this present juncture to see that he lived his life fullest. He's aged 92 years, but definitely a big loss for the country, and he served the nation well. I've had a long association with him, being part of this entire exercise of covering his Prime Minister's office right from the time I was a journalist as Finance Minister way back in 1995. I've interviewed him in his North Block offices, seen his trajectory and his rise to the highest office of this country. It's definitely a sad day and a life full well-lived. Dr. Manmohan Singh was definitely a good human being.
Absolutely. And I'm also currently joined by Maria Shakil at the moment. Maria, we'll be joined by Maria in just a short while from now. But let's also listen into some of the reactions that have come in.
Under disabled leadership, the party has flourished. 10 years Congress rule in India has given a new direction to the people of India, as well as the country has progressed. Nobody can forget his contribution. I condole his death and my prayers are with him.
Sir, you have closely worked with him. Any experience, any memory you have with him that you want to share?
Yeah, I was CWC member at that time when he was the Prime Minister of India. So he has always advising us on party matters, and also he has taken keen interest in party matters. He is the person who has given vibrant. Under disabled leadership, the party has flourished. 10 years Congress rule.
All right, I'm also currently joined by Pawan Bansal of the Congress on the phone line. Sir, just what are your thoughts on Dr. Singh passing away? Such a great loss for Indian politics there.
Privilege of a long association with him right from 91 up to 2014 actively. And the first thing that comes to my mind, of course, is contribution. The nation shall always be indebted to him for all his work that he did. The turnaround of the economy, then giving rights to the common man, that is in the form of Right to Information Act, then right to education, right to food, unique identification mark, that is Aadhaar. Nothing he left untouched in the country for us. And I immediately I recall the words of Mr. Barack Obama, who was the president then, when he said if there were to be 5 leaders like Dr. Manmohan Singh when he came to the Parliament House. I just went to escort him to the upstairs, the 3-4 steps there. He said if there were to be 5 leaders like Dr. Manmohan Singh when he was shaking hands with him, it would be a different world. That's the sort of the laudatory words that he had for Dr. Manmohan Singh. And it's a news, which is just shocking, very saddening one. And because of the long association that I had, I would never find him getting agitated, angry on anything. In a very cool and calm manner, he would preside over the meetings of our cabinet, not be ruffled by anything, whatever, any provocative thing or anything said by anyone. And he was a great administrator who served the country with great distinction always.
All right, Pawan Bansal, thank you very much for speaking to NDTV. I'm also currently joined by Maria Shakil. Maria, Dr. Singh has often been referred to as the accidental Prime Minister, but how do you think history will remember Dr. Manmohan Singh?
He was the real architect of economic reforms, and the brave redrawer of India's foreign policy with the Indo-US nuclear deal. He was certainly an economist par excellence, but a very, very decent man as well. As a political journalist, we would often see him in Parliament, and every time you would greet Dr. Manmohan Singh, he would smile. So that was quintessential Dr. Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister, who would be treated far more fairly by history than his own tenure was. But yes, condolences are pouring in from, across party lines. You have Prime Minister Narendra Modi, put out a detailed tweet talking about Dr. Manmohan Singh's tenure as finance minister and how he left a strong imprint on economic policy over the years, and how his interventions, Dr. Manmohan Singh's interventions in Parliament, were always very, very insightful. He also goes on to talk about his interactions when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister and Prime Minister Modi was then the Chief Minister of Gujarat. So those interactions certainly meant there was a great degree of, interactions in terms of not just the policy communication, but Prime Minister Modi says that his wisdom and humility were always visible. So certainly when you look at these tweets come in from across party lines, you realize the significance and the stature of Dr. Manmohan Singh as a true leader, as someone who touched upon lives, touched upon India's economic policy, and it's been quite a farewell to Dr. Manmohan Singh as he passed away just an hour ago.
Right. I'm also joined by Prakash Javadekar of the BJP. Sir, this is indeed a huge loss for Indian politics, and the kind of condolences that have been pouring in from all quarters speaks volume about the kind of personality that Dr. Manmohan Singh was.
He was a great economist, and the way he handled finance ministry and opened the economy is a remarkable contribution. And we have seen his sincerity, even though he was very sick, and even after his bypass surgeries. He used to attend parliament and used to sit silently, and sometimes he spoke with his firm resolve. So his country will definitely miss him, and a great leader we have lost. My homage and tribute to him.
We often speak about legacy and the kind of legacy that these great personalities leave behind. How was Dr. Manmohan Singh's legacy, and how has it influenced contemporary Indian politics as we know it?
Contemporary Indian politics was impacted by many events after independence, but opening of economy from the license permit quota Raj to open economy has boosted Indian economy very much. Because in 91, when he took this decision to open up, that was Narasimha Rao he was the Prime Minister, but both worked hard and ensured that India progresses and goes on the path of progress and not on the path of license permit quota Raj. The industries earlier were punished for doing more production. That was a real worst period for India. But now, after Manmohan Singh's and Narasimha Rao's opening of economy, we got and we are on the way to prosperity, and we'll achieve Vikasit Bharat. So this is actually, he laid that foundation.
Absolutely. Prakash Javadekar, thank you very much for speaking to NDTV. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, he has also posted his condolence on his social media platform, saying that India mourns the loss of one of its most distinguished leaders, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji. Rising from humble origins, he rose to become a respected economist. He served in various government positions as well, including as a finance minister, leaving a strong imprint on our economic policy over the years. His interventions in Parliament were also insightful. As a Prime Minister, he made extensive efforts to improve people's life. In fact, let's go across to my colleague Maria Shakil now.
Yes, Osama, we have former Finance Minister Dr. P. Chidambaram joining us now on NDTV, someone who has worked very closely with Dr. Manmohan Singh. Mr. P. Chidambaram, of course, this is a very tough moment for the entire country, and for you, as someone who worked with Dr. Manmohan Singh, what are your memories of the former Prime Minister, sir?
It's a very deeply emotional moment for me. I know he was ill, and I know that he was not active, but I thought he will live for a few more years at least. As I am able to recall the life and work of Dr. Manmohan Singh and the period from 1991 till 2014 will be a golden chapter in the history of India. I worked closely with him for many years. I have not met a person more humble and self-effacing than Dr. Singh. He wore his scholarship lightly and never claimed the credit for any of his historic achievements. In fact, the story of India turned after Dr. Manmohan Singh became finance minister. And the present middle class of India was virtually the creation of his policies as finance minister and prime minister. I can recount countless incidents. We had genuine empathy for the poor, and while his policies were liberal and progressive, he never forgot the poor. Two things, the Maganrega and the restructuring of the PDS were his sterling contributions to the needs of the poor. I believe his story has not been told fully. His achievements have not been recorded fully. I'm sure when the nation looks back upon the 23 years that Dr. Singh was in active politics, we will one day realize his true contribution to India and the Indian people. I can't say more now. May Dr. Manmohan Singh's soul rest in peace.
Mr. Chidambaram, your last interaction with Dr. Manmohan Singh?
It was about a year ago. After that, he stopped meeting visitors. He spoke a few words, and I inquired about his health. And we had some official matter, I can't recall, which we discussed briefly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chidambaram. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. So, Osama, former finance minister, former home minister, someone who worked very closely with former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, Mr. P. Chidambaram, recalling his views, sharing his thoughts on what has been the journey of Dr. Manmohan Singh and how his life was more than him being an economist. He was someone who has left an indelible mark when it comes to India's polity and also India's policy.
Absolutely, Maria. I'm also currently joined by my colleague Sunil Prabhu, who's outside the All India Institute of Medical Sciences there. Sunil, just take us through what is happening there at outside the hospital there.
So where Dr. Manmohan Singh was admitted or brought in a state where they tried to resurrect, try to give him immediate aid, and they weren't able to revive him at the emergency ICU in the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. He was a short while taken from there. I personally visited, paid my last respects as he was taken to the AIIMS mortuary. The details of his final rites are being worked out with his family, who are mourning his loss. As I said earlier, Osama, Dr. Manmohan Singh will go down as one of the greatest Indians in contemporary history, responsible for what we saw as the economic reforms. The architect worked with a number of prime ministers in various capacities, but really took on what they call the bull by its horns with the Prime Minister Narasimha Rao to herald India's awakening in 1991 which was then criticized not only by the opposition, which was the BJP and the left, but within his own party. But then really worked through the schemes of, ensuring that they stayed the course. There were a number of times that Dr. Manmohan Singh, and that's a period when I also covered the finance ministry, who would offer to resign when there was a huge amount of pressure that was being built, or there was a capital markets reforms. That being said, he stayed his full course of 5 years to remain and lose that in office as finance minister in 1996. Subsequently, he was made the leader of opposition by Sonia Gandhi in the Rajya Sabha, contested unsuccessfully from South Delhi, and then decided that enough is enough for him and he won't be able to do that electoral politics again. Wanted to resign at that stage, but Mrs. Gandhi continued to keep him as leader of opposition in the Rajya Sabha. The rest, as we know, for viewers, the Congress did exceptionally well under the UPA and was able to, with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi deciding not to become Prime Minister, nominated Dr. Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister in 2004, even though he carried on, and then again in 2009 was able to help the Congress, in fact, do better than its earlier performance, to be in office for another 5 years during the coalition politics of the United Progressive Alliance in 2014. There have been a number of issues and questions that we have asked, some of them extremely tough, always open to answer. However difficult the question, would always smile and would respond to the media on those important issues which were at that time extremely important, stubborn to a great extent on how he wanted to get his way around, be it the nuclear deal or any other important matter that was critical for him, which he believed was important for India in its enlightened interest, as he said, and very, very importantly, saying that that is the way forward for this country. So he put his stamp wherever it was required. That was Dr. Manmohan Singh, the man I knew, the person that India saw as Prime Minister for nearly a decade. In the years later, he had a special relationship with the former Congress President Sonia Gandhi, despite the many times and turbulent times of coalition politics, when at times one would have thought he would give in, like he did as the finance minister between 91 and 96. He refused to give in, saying that, as he said to me, that would mean that I would be letting down Sonia Gandhi and the Congress party, for whom they've given me the highest office. So that's Dr. Manmohan Singh. I could write a lot about it, but I'll leave it there. Dr. Manmohan Singh himself, who I urged to write a book a number of times, refused to get into that, saying that these are secrets which will go down with me. Today is a day where those secrets will go down with him. He's been the secretary of, as he said, the Department of Atomic Energy. He's been privy to India's very, very important secret information, which he felt he will not do justice to if he does write a book. He was urged by his own national security advisors and other close aides, but he still consistently said that he would not do so. His daughters have written a book about him to bring out the personality of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and India has definitely lost a great Indian.
Absolutely. Sunil, stay with us. I'm also currently joined by Milind Deora. Milind Deora, you have been associated with the Congress, and you have had personal interactions with Dr. Manmohan Singh in the past. Just give us an account of the kind of a person that he was, because we all know the economic reforms that he brought in, the notable initiatives that he implemented, the foreign policy. we know all of that, we understand all of that, but the person behind that, just give us a sense of who Manmohan Singh was.
I have had the privilege and great fortune of knowing Dr. Manmohan Singh from a young age. He was RBI governor and was very, very close to my late father at the time. He would come to Mumbai very often as finance minister, as a member of parliament, as leader of opposition. And I pretty much grew up with him staying at our home in Mumbai whenever he would come there. In fact, the last time he stayed with us was literally 4 months before he became Prime Minister. This was in December 2003, I remember. And so then, when I became an MP, he was very, very kind to me during my election campaign, during the subsequent, when I got elected, when I became a minister in his government. Even after he and I demitted office, I would have the opportunity to go and visit him, seek his wisdom on many issues, political, economic, foreign policy issues. And, the personal relationship I shared with him really transcended politics, power, party. And he was a kind man. He was a generous man with his time, with his wisdom. My first few interactions with him, when I was at an age where I could talk to him about important issues, maybe at the age of 18 or 19, he had been a finance minister, but he was always encouraging. He was always asking me for input. He was always seeking my opinion on what young people think on economic issues, what should we do about certain foreign policy issues. And there was never any feeling of, there was no insecurity in him, in that he was encouraging a young, inexperienced person to give him ideas. So that told me a lot about this man, that he was more of a mentor, a friend, a guide than a leader or anything else. Someone you could access, someone you could talk to, someone you could connect with, someone who sought opinions, and as I said, someone who was extremely accessible. Accessible doesn't just mean in terms of your time. Accessible means in terms of your bandwidth, your ability to share ideas, to brainstorm. And I experienced that, as I said, before I got into politics, when I served as a minister in his government, even afterwards. He always was generous with his time and keen to debate and discuss and seek my ideas rather than share his own ideas or thrust his own ideas upon me. He would always say, what do you think we should do with this? What do you think of this? So a unique man, certainly a gentleman in politics, in this the heat and dust of Indian politics. A very, very unique person who rose all the way to the top purely on his intellect and on his humility. And I think they don't make many like him anymore, unfortunately, and I wish they did, and I hope they will in the future.
All right, Milind Deora, thank you very much for speaking with NDTV. In fact, I also have... All right, so the former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, has passed away at the age of 92. Condolences have been pouring in for the former Prime Minister. Dr. Manmohan Singh was admitted in at AIIMS. He was admitted in AIIMS to AIIMS in Delhi after his health deteriorated. His condition was said to be very critical when he was taken to the hospital, when he was brought to the emergency department of the hospital. Dr. Singh, he is often referred to as the architect of India's economic reforms. He in fact ended his Rajya Sabha innings after an illustrious career this year. In fact, I'm also currently joined by Pawan Khera at the moment. Sir, terms like impact and legacy, it is often thrown around, used by many. But when it comes to Dr. Manmohan Singh, how do you think, what do you think about Dr. Manmohan Singh, and especially when you say that the legacy of Dr. Manmohan Singh will be remembered forever in Indian politics?
Yeah, it's a sad day, not just for us in the Congress party, but I'm sure it's a sad day for every single Indian. He leaves behind a very, very rich legacy. He took the Indian economy, the self-respect of this country to new heights, can never be forgotten. History, I'm sure, is judging, as we speak, Dr. Manmohan Singh differently.
Right, Pawan Khera, thank you very much for speaking with NDTV, sir. Like many have been mentioning, Dr. Manmohan Singh's legacy, it is a testament to his remarkable contributions to India's economic growth and development as the Prime Minister of India, serving from 2004 to 2014. He in fact implemented several key policies that transformed the country's economy. Whether it is economic reforms Singh's economic reforms initiated during his tenure as the finance minister in 1991. He liberalized India's economy, encouraging growth and development. He abolished the license Raj, reduced state control and lowered import taxes, making India an attractive destination for foreign investments. There were some notable initiatives that were taken during his tenure as Prime Minister. The Manrega scheme, it provided employment opportunities for rural household. Right to Information Act, which empowered citizens to access government information. There was also the National Rural Health Mission that improved healthcare services in rural areas. The Right to Education Act that made education a fundamental right for children between 6 and 14 years. And then the foreign policy of Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Singh's foreign policy, it focused on strengthening ties with neighboring countries and the global powers. He continued the peace process with Pakistan. He in fact that was initiated by his predecessors. He in fact improved relations with China, the United States, many European countries, European Union countries. Overall, Dr. Manmohan Singh's legacy, it is marked by his commitment to economic growth, social welfare and diplomatic engagement. His policies and initiatives have had a lasting impact on India's development and its position on the global stage. And my colleague Sunil Prabhu joins us on the phone line from outside the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Sunil, we are speaking about the kind of legacy that Dr. Manmohan Singh has left behind. It is indeed a testament to his remarkable contribution to not just India's economic growth and development, but the culture as a whole.
A minority Prime Minister, the first Sikh Prime Minister, and holding office for full 10 years. It's been a long road for Dr. Manmohan Singh, and it's definitely been something which has been epoch-making. Starting off and studying under a lantern, a scholarly, Dr. Manmohan Singh was able to get an award and has taught in the School of Economics. From there, he became a professor and carried on to join government service and be...
We'll come back to you. I'm currently joined by Union Minister Hardeep Puri at the moment. Sir, what a big loss for Indian politics there, Dr. Manmohan Singh passing away at the age of 92.
It's an immense loss. And that loss will be felt by people who knew him and those who will remember his contributions. He was a cerebral and thoughtful person, a tall statesman and a visionary leader. And my wife Lakshmi and I had the privilege of interacting with him during our long careers in the Foreign Service. When we were young officers in Tokyo, he came there when we were posted there in the late 70s, mid-70s, late 70s. And he was then Chief Economic Advisor. Later, during our posting in Geneva, he was the chief of the South Commission, and we were able to interact with him at a personal level. And we were always impressed with his scholarship, his academic rigor, and later, of course, his contribution as finance minister to the stage where the economy was assuming more outward oriented postures. then, of course, as Prime Minister, I had the privilege personally of hosting prime ministerial visits when I was ambassador in Geneva, later in Brazil, and finally in New York. Again, when I returned to Delhi in between as Secretary Economic Relations. So I must say that Dr. Manmohan Singh's contribution to the country will be remembered in very positive terms. His contribution not only to the economy, but his stewardship at a difficult time, and the loss will be personally felt by all those who came in touch with him. He was a person who gave humility and a sense of professional purpose, an entirely new meaning. And our heartfelt condolences to Gursharan ji and their daughters. And I think that the outpourings of grief which are coming in from different parts of India, these are a testimony to his many qualities of head and heart, of leadership, and he will be long remembered for his contribution.
Absolutely, sir. We speak about legacy. Dr. Manmohan Singh, he was often referred to as the accidental Prime Minister. Sir, how do you think the history will remember Dr. Manmohan Singh?
Well, he once said that history will be remembering him more kindly than the phase with which he went through. Look, politics is necessarily a game which involves the rough and the tumble. And the fact of the matter is that however you choose to describe him, fact is he was Prime Minister of India between 2004 and 14. And during those 10 years, a lot of good things happened. Some things could have been done differently. But at a time like this, the country will remember his contribution. And any one individual, even if he's heading a party, political party or this thing, operates under constraints. And I think history will, to that extent, judge him very kindly. And it will remember him for those human qualities. And, I had as a member of the Rajya Sabha, I very often met him when he was not in good health, but he still came to the House. And I think the legacy will be a very positive one.
Absolutely, sir. And he's often been referred to as the architect of India's economic reforms. How will Dr. Singh's legacy influence future economic policies and reforms in India?
He was Chief Economic Advisor, then later on he was Finance Secretary. If I remember correctly, I think he was also Governor of the Central Bank, Reserve Bank, and later on became Finance Minister. And his stint, particularly as Finance Minister, was a time when the economic liberalization process received an impetus.
Absolutely. Hardeep Singh Puri, thank you very much for speaking with NDTV. And my colleague Sunil Prabhu is there outside the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Sunil, we have been hearing from politicians from across the board, and everyone has only one thing to say, that the legacy that he has left behind, it is something that that will probably shape the future of India in coming days. My question to you is, how do you think will Dr. Singh's legacy influence foreign policy and reforms in India? Because he basically laid the groundwork for the work that is being done right now at the moment.
So, that question Dr. Manmohan Singh himself actually answered at a press conference for which I was part of, where he said, I hope history will judge me kinder. And that's being seen as we speak and as this country mourns his loss. In the next few hours, his body will be taken to his residence in Motilal Nehru Marg. And then the state, we are told, the government and the cabinet will be condoling his passing away. A full state honor funeral will be given to Dr. Manmohan Singh. They are in touch with his family to work out the finer details since he is the former Prime Minister of India. And it's in that backdrop that Dr. Manmohan Singh had hoped that the country would see him and judge him kinder than the brickbats that he got during his tenure from 2004 to 2014. Having said that, as you saw, and cutting across party lines, bipartisan, everybody had good words for Dr. Manmohan Singh, from his soft-spoken manner to his scholarly attitude to his very clear thought process about what he wanted, as you rightly pointed out, be it in the economic sphere or in the international arena. He definitely had a vision, the rights-based program, the right to information, what is now called the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program. At that time, the right to guarantee for employment, the right to education, and that list carries on, the right-based programs that he started, which actually helped India during those COVID years to sustain. The Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program was this lifesaver for millions of Indians across this country during this period, apart from the various other schemes of work for food and other policies that he did bring about during his tenure. But more importantly, the fact that he made it clear that the trickle-down effect, at least in economic reforms, is the easiest way. There is no better way to do it than this, and that is why he was clear that if India, with a country at that time 1 billion, had to succeed, it was important that the economic reforms would ultimately help not only create a new middle class, which we have seen, but help the poorest of the poor. It's in those words that Dr. Manmohan Singh, carried on his reform process, and it was never easy. It was extremely difficult. Please remember, right up from 1991 to 2014, India was in coalition era, and it was extremely difficult for any prime minister, be it Narasimha Rao, be it Atal Bihari Vajpayee or I.K. Gujral or H.D. Deve Gowda. They were all having to walk a tightrope.
Right.
Given
Stay
the
with
allies
us.
and the various
We
contradictions.
are currently joined by my colleague Maria Shakil at the moment. Maria, over to you.
Yes, so lots of reactions coming in, lots of condolence messages coming in from across party lines, and someone who has worked with Dr. Manmohan Singh, Anand Sharma, is joining us now. Mr. Sharma, it's a very tough moment for the entire country. His demise certainly is an irreparable loss for India. As someone who worked with Dr. Manmohan Singh, what are your thoughts today, sir, at this moment?
Well, it's a great national loss. I'm personally deeply saddened. He was a man of rare combination of intellect and integrity. Working with him as his cabinet minister, earlier in foreign affairs and later as India's economy minister, was a humbling experience, a learning experience. He was, for me, not just a prime minister. He was my guru. He was a teacher. He was a guide. He was a man of few words, but deeply committed to India, its future. A man of compassion, who felt for the poor, who felt for the unempowered Indians. Don't forget that he came to India after the partition as a refugee. He was a self-made man. He talked less but delivered far more, and history will respect. I am aware of his steely resolve, his strength. When we were negotiating the Indo-US nuclear agreement, he was under pressure from within the UPA alliance, from outside. There was opposition. He was challenged. It went to the wire. Dr. Manmohan Singh stood firm. And he told me, and I've written in our internal notes, that come what may, India's future its sovereignty and security matters. Whether I remain as PM or not, it does not matter. I will not compromise. I remember that. I'll never forget. Second was the WTO agreement. Since the formation of WTO, nothing moved. It was only Dr. Manmohan Singh who facilitated in 2013. I was India's minister, but I had the mandate from the cabinet thanks to my Prime Minister. Also, let's not forget that he was a visionary. It's sad for India that both my party weakened towards the end and the BJP government, NDA, on the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, because we saw the great future of India's integration with the Asia-Pacific region. I was also witness very closely to the 2008-9 global banking and financial crisis, when the world looked up to him. And he had undergone a beating heart surgery at AIIMS. He preferred to have it in India. And the world appealed to him. I'm sure Major Gordon Brown and President Obama, who were witness to that, will talk about it. They have. But he went to London on that 4th of April 2009 G20 summit in that health condition and guided the world. It's a huge loss, but his contribution will be remembered with gratitude and respect.
All right, Dr. Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister of India, he sadly passed away at the age of 92. He was taken to All India Institute of Medical Sciences, where he was admitted. The hospital said that he was admitted in a critical condition when he was admitted. He passed away at 9:51 p.m. According to AIIMS press release. Dr. Manmohan Singh, condolences, in fact, have been pouring in for the former Prime Minister of India, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi, the Home Minister, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, as well as others. The condolences have been pouring in. In fact, the Prime Minister, he has posted on his social media. In fact, the leader of the Congress chief, Mallikarjun Kharge, has also in fact posted on his social media saying that history shall judge you kindly, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji. With the passing of the former Prime Minister, India has lost a visionary statesman, a leader of unimpeachable integrity, and an economist of unparalleled stature. His policy of economic liberalization and rights-based welfare paradigm profoundly transformed the lives of crores of Indians, virtually creating a middle class in India and lifting crores out of poverty. Meanwhile, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, has said that Manmohan Singh ji led India with immense wisdom and integrity. His humility and deep understanding of economics inspired the nation. My heartfelt condolences to Mrs. Kaur and the family. Rahul Gandhi also adds that I have lost a mentor and a guide. We'll slip into a very short break. More on the other side.
A very warm welcome to the first edition of the NDTV Emerging Business Conclave 2024.
MSME विभाग एक महत्वपूर्ण विभाग है.
We have to think about what is brand India. India will always stand for democracy. We will always be one of the largest investors in the world.
It is also very, very important that these MSMEs grow.
We are seeing that women are coming up in many other sectors apart from the traditional sectors.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India, beating all its competition. NDTV stands for trust.
2024, the year that was, when India welcomed Ram. When India decided,
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी,
when Jammu and Kashmir turned a historic leaf,
as Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir,
when India mourned, when India celebrated, when India protested, when India felt proud, when India scaled new highs, NDTV brought it all to you, your trusted news destination, yesterday, today and tomorrow.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai, to the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
And sad news coming in at the moment. 13th Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, he has passed away at the age of 92. He was born on the 26th of September in 1932. He served as the Prime Minister from 2004 to 2014. During his tenure, Dr. Singh, he implemented significant economic reforms, including the abolition of the Licence Raj, which helped liberalize the Indian economy. In fact, Dr. Singh's government also enacted notable legislation such as the Right to Information Act and the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. His administration worked towards stronger ties with countries like the United States, China, and Japan. He in fact also played a crucial role in negotiating the Indo-US civilian nuclear agreements. And I'm currently joined by Sachin Pilot at the moment. Sachin Pilot, what a great loss for not just the Congress party, but Indian politics in general.
Certainly, I think it's end of an era. Dr. Singh, in his passing, we've lost a man who was a visionary, and he really led the country in a way that was not thought to be possible back in 91. And as Prime Minister, as Finance Minister, as RBI Governor, his contributions to our policy making, our economy has been immense. And I think this generation owes a lot to the work that Dr. Singh did in his life. And he was a true nationalist. I think he kept nation above everything else. And to my mind, two things that stand out are honesty and humility that he'll be remembered most for.
Right. You speak about his humility, his integrity. When you speak about India's interest on the global stage, Sachin Pilot, what role do you think Dr. Singh played in promoting those interests on the global stage, and how can his approach to foreign policy be emulated? Because that is something that everyone would look at.
I mean, he had the foresight to unlock India's potential when most people didn't think we had it in us in the early 90s. So I think he took that big leap of faith. He trusted the people of India to live up to what the world expected from us. And you're right, he put all his political capital at stake when he did the Indo-US civil nuclear deal. That put India in a firm position in terms of our requirements for nuclear assets and security. So I think in terms of foreign policy, his economic policy making, kept the nation first. He was not bound by petty political interests. He was not, interested in taking credit for the things that he did. He was a very quiet man, a few words, but, kept his head down and worked and proved to the world that India can be what it is today. But you're right, in terms of his policy making, it was always nation first.
Absolutely. And Sachin Pilot, as a human being as well, he was somebody who's absolutely remarkable. When just had your interactions with Dr. Manmohan Singh, what were those like? Because you have closely worked with him, you have interacted with him. What were those interactions like?
He was someone who always encouraged any discussion or debate or deliberations in a cabinet meeting. If I was looking after the Ministry of Telecom or Corporate Affairs, but if I had to say something about farming and agriculture, he would encourage that. And, he would like to have a very robust debate in a cabinet meeting. He gave us a lot of space to work. I worked many years in his cabinet, and, it's a very proud honor for me to have done that, because he was someone who was a joy to work with, quite honestly. And he was not a hardcore politician, but he was a very kind man, very, very intellectually sound, and he knew exactly what is to be done. And, what impressed me most, man, is that he never got upset. I never saw him angry or overwhelmed, always calm, always smiling. And that's the real hallmark of a quintessential gentleman. And that's exactly what Dr. Singh was.
Absolutely. Sachin Pilot, thank you very much for speaking with NDTV. We'll slip into a very short break. More on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
NDTV shines with 38 prestigious wins at the News Television Awards 2024. Powerful journalism to cutting-edge digital innovation, production excellence to regional leadership. NDTV sets the benchmark. 38 awards, each a testament to your trust in NDTV. NDTV stands for trust. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future.
The former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, passes away at the age of 92. Dr. Manmohan Singh, he died at AIIMS in Delhi. A state funeral is going to be accorded to the ex-Prime Minister. Political leaders mourn Dr. Manmohan Singh's demise. Prime Minister Modi says that Dr. Singh made extensive efforts to improve lives of the people. Rahul Gandhi says that he has lost a mentor and a guide. A shootout in broad daylight as gang war leaves 2 dead and 1 critical in Haryana. Masked men fire at 3 men outside gym in Yamunanagar. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy meets Telugu film industry representatives. Chief Minister Reddy puts onus on the stars, says stars are responsible for fans. AAP versus Congress escalates ahead of Delhi polls. Aam Aadmi Party pushes to remove Congress from the India bloc. AAP alleges Congress candidate list is being prepared in BJP office. This, as Congress alleges tie-up with Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi was a big mistake. BJP hits back, saying Aam Aadmi Party and Congress's tiff is an admission of defeat. MK Stalin government in the dock over Anna University assault case. The National Commission of Women says the police laxity enabled repeat offender. BJP shares accused photo with Udanidhi Stalin, while the DMK has denied these connections and said that BJP is playing politics. BJP's scathing attack on Congress over alleged distorted India map at Congress's working committee meet at Belagavi. BJP calls it a symptom of Congress's appeasement politics. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister says there is no controversy and that the mistake has been fixed. And the former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, he is no more. The former Prime Minister, he passed away at the age of 92. The government sources are saying that all government programs scheduled tomorrow are set to be cancelled. It will be national mourning of 7 days will be declared. The cabinet is set to meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. Dr. Manmohan Singh's last rites are also set to be conducted with full state honours. And my colleague Sunil Prabhu joins us to get us more on this. Sunil, what we are learning at the moment is that all the government programs that were scheduled tomorrow are going to be cancelled, and that a national mourning period of 7 days will be declared tomorrow at 11 p.m. in that cabinet meeting.
That's right. As you rightly pointed out, the country has and the cabinet will be condoling Dr. Manmohan Singh's passing away at 11 a.m. tomorrow. 7 days mourning has been declared. All government programs have been cancelled for tomorrow. State funeral to be accorded to the former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who passed away at the age of 92. As we've been speaking, he's a great Indian, the architect of India's economic reforms. It's been a long road for Dr. Manmohan Singh, a scholar turned educator, and then, as he said, an accidental politician to reach the highest office of this country as Prime Minister, a minority from the Sikh community who steered India from 2004 to 2014 during the coalition eras to ensure India's space in whatever it did, be it the US nuclear deal, be it the rights-based programs from right to information to right to guarantee, which has now been christened as the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program, and a host of right to education, and that list carries on. It's been a difficult time for Dr. Manmohan Singh during his term as Prime Minister to spearhead and to manage coalition contradictions. But that being said, he was able to win the first after Prime Minister Nehru a second term in office in 2009 and continued till the Congress did dismally in 2014. And hasn't still ever recovered from that dismal performance. Dr. Manmohan Singh has had a big career. He has been not only RBI Governor, Secretary Economic Affairs, Secretary Atomic Energy, and a host of critical and very important positions across this country, including being the chairman of the UGC before he was brought in and handpicked by the late Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao as the finance minister and has helped to spearhead the entire economic reforms program. So definitely, as we speak, the nation mourns leaders cutting across party lines. There has been a bipartisan outpouring of grief and mourning of Dr. Manmohan Singh, who many have considered a great Indian.
Right. Sunil Prabhu, thank you very much for getting us all the latest there. Meanwhile, condolences have been pouring in. The Prime Minister of the country, Narendra Modi, he has posted on his social media platform saying that India mourns the loss of one of its most distinguished leaders, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji. Rising from humble origins, he rose to become a respected economist. He served in various government positions as well, including as finance minister, leaving a strong imprint on our economic policy over the years. His interventions in parliament were also insightful. As a prime minister, he made extensive efforts to improve people's life. In fact, Rahul Gandhi has also posted on his social media. He says that Manmohan Singh ji led India with immense wisdom and integrity. His humility and deep understanding of economics inspired the nation. My heartfelt condolences to Mrs. Kaur and the family. He also adds that I have lost a mentor and a guide. Millions of us who admired him will remember him with the utmost pride.
Well, it's a great national loss. I'm personally deeply saddened. He was a man of rare combination of intellect and integrity. Working with him as his cabinet minister, earlier in foreign affairs and later as India's economy minister, was a humbling experience, a learning experience. He was, for me, not just a prime minister. He was my guru. He was a teacher. He was a guide. He was a man of few words, but deeply committed to India, its future. A man of compassion, who felt for the poor, who felt for the unempowered Indians. Don't forget that he came to India after the partition as a refugee. He was a self-made man. He talked less but delivered far more, and history will respect. I am aware of his steely resolve, his strength.
As Prime Minister, I had the privilege personally of hosting prime ministerial visits when I was ambassador in Geneva, later in Brazil, and finally in New York. Again, when I returned to Delhi in between as Secretary Economic Relations. So I must say that Dr. Manmohan Singh's contribution to the country will be remembered in very positive terms. His contribution not only to the economy, but his stewardship at a difficult time, and the loss will be personally felt by all those who came in touch with him. He was a person who gave humility and a sense of professional purpose, an entirely new meaning. And our heartfelt condolences to Gursharan ji and their daughters. And I think that the outpourings of grief which are coming in from different parts of India, these are a testimony to his many qualities of head and heart, of leadership, and he will be long remembered for his contribution.
He was always encouraging. He was always asking me for inputs. He was always seeking my opinion on what young people think on economic issues, what should we do about certain foreign policy issues. And there was never any feeling of, there was no insecurity in him, in that he was encouraging a young, inexperienced person to give him ideas. So that told me a lot about this man, that he was more of a mentor, a friend, a guide than a leader or anything else. Someone you could access, someone you could talk to, someone you could connect with, someone who sought opinions, and as I said, someone who was extremely accessible. Accessible doesn't just mean in terms of your time. Accessible means in terms of your bandwidth, your ability to share ideas, to brainstorm. And I experienced that, as I said, before I got into politics, when I served as a minister in his government, even afterwards. He always was generous with his time and keen to debate and discuss and seek my ideas rather than share his own ideas or thrust his own ideas upon me. He would always say, what do you think we should do with this? What do you think of this? So So a unique man, certainly a gentleman in politics, in this the heat and dust of Indian politics. A very, very unique person who rose all the way to the top purely on his intellect and on his humility. And I think they don't make many like him anymore.
It's a very deeply emotional moment for me. I know he was ill, and I know that he was not active, but I thought he will live for a few more years at least. As I am able to recall the life and work of Dr. Manmohan Singh and the period from 1991 till 2014 will be a golden chapter in the history of India. I worked closely with him for many years. I have not met a person more humble and self-effacing than Dr. Singh. He wore his scholarship lightly and never claimed the credit for any of his historic achievements. In fact, the story of India turned after Dr. Manmohan Singh became finance minister. And the present middle class of India was virtually the creation of his policies as finance minister and prime minister. I can recount countless incidents. We had genuine empathy for the poor. And while his policies were liberal and progressive, he never forgot the poor.
I think it's end of an era. Dr. Singh, in his passing, we've lost a man who was a visionary, and he really led the country in a way that was not thought to be possible back in 91. And as Prime Minister, as Finance Minister, as RBI Governor, his contributions to our policy making, our economy has been immense. And I think this generation owes a lot to the work that Dr. Singh did in his life. And he was a true nationalist. I think he kept nation above everything else. And to my mind, two things that stand out are honesty and humility that he'll be remembered most for.
We'll take a short break. More on the other side.
This week on India Ascends. Will Myanmar's junta chiefs see the same fate as Syria's Bashar al-Assad? Beijing in limbo as Xi's purge extends to his own men? How Trudeau's own misgivings are likely to become his end? And broken souls in a broken system, why young Wall Street bankers are getting by using ADHD pills. All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland. The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
A very warm welcome to the first edition of the NDTV Emerging Business Conclave 2024.
MSME विभाग एक महत्वपूर्ण विभाग है.
We have to think about what is brand India. India will always stand for democracy. We will always be one of the largest investors in the world.
It is also very, very important that these MSMEs grow.
We are seeing that women are coming up in many other sectors apart from the traditional sectors.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
2024, the year that was, when India welcomed Ram. When India decided,
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी.
when Jammu and Kashmir turned a historic leaf.
As Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir.
When India mourned. When India celebrated. When India protested. When India felt proud. When India scaled new highs. NDTV brought it all to you. Your trusted news destination. Yesterday,
I honestly believe that history will be kinder to me than the contemporary media or for that matter the opposition parties in parliament.
Famous words from Dr. Manmohan Singh at the last major press interaction in 2014 before the general elections. The man who served as Prime Minister for 10 years had a huge impact on modern India. Born in Gah, now in Pakistan, Dr. Singh's family migrated to India during partition in 1947. After obtaining his doctorate in economics from Oxford, Dr. Singh first worked for the United Nations in the 1960s. In the 1970s, he began a long career in the bureaucracy, including as RBI Governor, Chief Economic Advisor, and Vice Chairman of the Planning Commission. But his first big moment came during the economic crisis of 1991, when he served as the finance minister under Prime Minister Narasimha Rao. Dr. Singh carried out the most comprehensive reforms India has seen by opening up the economy through liberalization. In 2004, the Congress emerged as the single largest party in a shock general election that saw the unexpected defeat of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. There was a clamour for Sonia Gandhi to take over as Prime Minister of a Congress-led coalition, but Mrs. Gandhi struggled with the decision for days. A week later, she surprised everyone when she announced that Dr. Manmohan Singh would be her choice for Prime Minister.
I'm very happy. I think our country will be safe in Dr. Manmohan Singh's hands.
And so the UPA was born, with coalition partners from the Congress as disparate as the DMK from Tamil Nadu to the CPI and the CPM, with whom the Prime Minister would share a rocky relationship. That coalition was first tested after the India-US nuclear deal of 2005. It was a landmark agreement made by Dr. Singh and then US President George W. Bush. India, which has faced international pressure to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or the NPT, after its nuclear tests in 1974 and 1998, was now on its way towards joining the global nuclear club.
Civilian nuclear energy has a greater role in meeting global energy demands.
His first term was also marked with the passage of key laws, like the Right to Information, Rural Health Mission, and Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. But there was also whispers about who was really in charge. Sonia Gandhi had taken over head of the NAC, a body called the National Advisory Council, and critics said she was the one actually calling the shots. In his first term, diplomatic ties with the United States were strengthened, as were ties with Europe, Japan, and Iran. Dr. Singh got on famously with George W. Bush and Barack Obama. He was well respected on the global stage. Ties with Pakistan also improved for some years. Back-channel talks almost paved the way for movement forward on Kashmir. The famous Manmohan Musharraf four-step formula, which would have made boundaries irrelevant and enabled more contact across the LOC. However, the 26/11 Mumbai attacks in 2008 completely changed the trajectory. The UPA came back with a bigger mandate, with Dr. Manmohan Singh advertised as the Congress's face for Prime Minister. India had given Dr. Singh a big thumbs up, but the second term was nothing like the first. Allegations surfaced of large-scale corruption in the Commonwealth Games, on coal block allocations, and most famously, the 2G scam, which a court years later has upheld never happened. The appeals are pending. The opposition accused Dr. Singh of not speaking up, of being a mute spectator to rampant corruption.
और आज उन्हें इस गंभीर विषय पर प्रधानमंत्री सदन में आकर एक वक्तव्य करें।
The Nirbhaya gang rape of December 2012, the poor handling of the protests and the public anger was another low point for Dr. Singh's prime ministership.
It didn't help when Rahul Gandhi publicly tore up an ordinance to protect parliamentarians with a pending criminal record.
My opinion on the ordinance is that it should be torn up and thrown away.
Dr. Singh may not have been the most eloquent prime minister, but he had his moments, like this parliament debate with Sushma Swaraj in 2013, where both invoked poetry to make the point. One of the most memorable exchanges on the floor of the House.
हमको है उनसे वफा की उम्मीद जो जानते नहीं वफा क्या है
कुछ तो मजबूरियां रही होंगी यूं ही कोई बेवफा नहीं होता
After Narendra Modi's big win in 2014, Dr. Manmohan Singh played the role of the opposition's conscience keeper, cautioning the government on the economy, demonetization and other crucial issues.
Scheme of monetization, the way it has been implemented, will hurt agricultural growth in our country, will hurt small industry, will hurt all those people who are in the informal sectors of the economy.
As his health deteriorated, Dr. Singh was rarely seen in public. His last political appearance was during a no-trust vote in Rajya Sabha in 2023, when he was brought in on a wheelchair. Manmohan Singh was never a typical politician for a man who was often called an accidental prime minister. Dr. Singh was at the helm for 10 long years, a tenure that left a lasting impact.
New day, new show, a new experience. Start your day with the news, not views. We bring you stories that matter and impact your lives. News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
To the seat of governance, Delhi, NDTV brings to you the best breakfast show. The breakfast show only on NDTV 24/7 every morning at 8 a.m.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
Mahakumbh, the festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
NDTV shines with 38 prestigious wins at the News Television Awards 2024. Powerful journalism to cutting-edge digital innovation, production excellence to regional leadership. NDTV sets the benchmark. 38 awards, each a testament to your trust in NDTV. NDTV stands for trust. In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
This week on India Ascends.
Will Myanmar's junta chiefs see the same fate as Syria's Bashar al-Assad? Beijing in limbo as Xi's purge extends to his own men. How Trudeau's own misgivings are likely to become his end. And broken souls in a broken system, why young Wall Street bankers are getting by using ADHD pills.
All this and more only on India Ascends with me, Gauri Dwivedi, at these timings on the NDTV network.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from...
Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program this evening, the Telangana Chief Minister Revant Reddy's diktat set the tone today when Hyderabad's film stars met him following the Pushpa 2 stampede. The meeting, featuring icons like Nagarjuna and Venkatesh, was charged with discussions on public safety and order. Reddy was clear there would be no compromises. The dialogue aimed at fostering better film-government relations, promising a new era where Tollywood's glamour meets governance to prevent future mishaps. Also coming up on this program, the plot thickens around the Azerbaijan Airlines tragedy, increasing evidence points to the chilling possibility that the jet was shot down. Reuters reports that this was a Russian missile that damaged the aircraft. You can see the shrapnel there on your screen. Footage reveals suspicious holes in the fuselage, suggesting not a mere accident, but a strike from military air defenses. Experts are piecing together the puzzle, with theories swirling around that the plane might have been mistaken for a drone amidst regional conflicts. The conversation around this crash is shifting from poor weather anomalies to potential foul plays with calls for a thorough international investigation. The headlines at this hour. Aam Aadmi Party versus the Congress. That is all escalating ahead of the Delhi elections. The Aam Aadmi Party pushes to remove the Congress from the India bloc. The Aam Aadmi Party alleges that the Congress candidate list is being prepared in the BJP's office. The Stalin government in the dock over the Anna University assault. The National Commission for Women says that the police laxity enabled a repeat offender. The BJP shares the accused photo with Udayanidhi. The DMK denies